Good morning. Good morning to all of our attendees. Welcome to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, Jackson Health, and our Advocacy Committee's listening session on what Black businesses need to succeed at government contracting. I want to welcome everyone, all of our participants as you come on in. We are going live on Facebook at the moment. If you are on Facebook, we ask that you share this important conversation that we're having as our Miami-Dade Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Advocacy Committee begin this webinar. And we are now live on Facebook. Welcome everyone to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce and Jackson Health Systems. Our current webinar is a listening session on what Black businesses need to succeed in government contracting. So I want to thank all of you for attending and being on at this moment, this very important conversation. We're going to get started in just a few moments as we allow our attendees to come on in and our panelists to join us. We have representatives from Jackson Health, Miami-Dade County, and Miami-Dade Public Schools that are joining us, along with several Black business owners who have been working in this community for quite a while. So this is going to be a very good informational session, a listening session for our team. So thank everyone for joining us, for being a part of this journey as we talk during Black History Month about the specific issues that Black businesses face in government contracting. And with that, I think we are ready to start. Please like and share this on our Facebook, Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. If you know any other business owners, please tag them for this very important conversation. With that, I would like to hand it over to our chairman of our Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Advocacy Committee, Chairman Robert Tyler.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. And there you go. And welcome, family. We are so excited about what we're doing today and excited about the potential. Any serious dialogue has to begin with the persons involved at the table together. And that's what we've done today. I thank God for the Chamber and the Advocacy Committee, some who are logged in right now. And I thank God for Jackson Health, who we partnered with to bring about this dialogue. Notice it's being called a listening session. In any good marriage, what you want to encourage is the two parties to listen to each other. And so we're serious about making progress. We're serious about making a difference. And we want to demonstrate that by having open and honest dialogue about what we've encountered as business people doing businesses with the public entities. I want to pass, we've got a very star-studded panel, and I want to pass the microphone right now to Jackson's favorite daughter, Amber Longhorn, who is director of Jackson Health's small business program. Amber.
Thank you, Bob. It's nice to get an introduction from the hardest working man in construction. As Bob said, my name is Amber Longhorn, and I'm the director of Jackson Health Systems Small Business Program. As you know, Jackson is the provider of healthcare services for the citizens of Miami-Dade County. We are, in essence, an agency of Miami-Dade County government, and as such, are responsible for adhering to the purchasing practices of Miami-Dade County government. The county currently has a race and gender neutral SBE program, Small Business Enterprise Program. This means we are restricted from applying any contract benefits based on ethnicity or gender. Nevertheless, we all know there is a significant disparity in the county's contracting with Black businesses. This is why Jackson chose to partner with the Miami-Dade Chamber in hosting today's listening session. It's also why we invited the leaders from Miami-Dade County Small Business Development, as well as Miami-Dade County Public Schools Office of Economic Opportunity to participate as well. I'd like to take 2 minutes to tell you a little bit about Jackson's Small Business Program team and the services we provide. My teammates are Leighton Brown, Small Business Program Analyst, and Miranda Yaguno, Small Business Program Specialist. We are a tiny but mighty team who oversee the inclusion of Miami-Dade County certified small businesses in the purchases of goods and services for the entire Jackson Health system. In our roles, we review procurements for SBE opportunities. We host outreach events to inform and engage the SBE vendor community. Speaking of which, we have a webinar on Thursday, Meet Our Jackson West Medical Center team, where we'll be featuring the CEO for our upcoming brand new facility in Doral to talk about opportunities for SBEs there. We hope you'll register to attend. Our team also provides vendor support related to contract concerns, whether it be timely payment, invoice discrepancies, as well as project management and vendor performance. As many of you know, over the past 5 years, Jackson has been involved in a $2 billion capital program. The program included significant opportunity for local businesses. With support from Sharice Chester and Natasha Placide of Creative Vision Media, our SBE advocacy partner, we set out on a path to inform and engage local small businesses, particularly Black businesses, so they could take advantage of the work available. The Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce has been an important part of Jackson's outreach to the Black business community. About 4 years ago, we hosted a similar listening session with the Chamber to hear and attempt to address the concerns of Black businesses. I want to tell you a few of the concerns we heard and the steps that Jackson took to address them. One of the things mentioned was access to capital and funding. In response, we held a separate session with the Chamber where we brought in organizations that offered funding and bonding to share information on their programs and their process. Another concern was understanding bid documents and how to respond in a winning way. So for 2 years, we held several sessions with the Chamber that focused on reading and understanding bid documents, strategies to develop a more competitive bid, as well as contract management from a compliance perspective. Finally, the biggest concern, of course, was the payment process. The vendor community told us that the review and approval process was unreasonably long. We found that the industry standard for construction specifically was 60+ days. In response, Jackson designed an internal process up front to expedite review that took us from industry standard of 60+ days down to the county's requirement for SBEs of 14 days. We also invested in department staff that's dedicated to ensure the process is followed. We have buy-in from the finance teams, and we have weekly system reports that are circulated and reviewed to hold everyone in the process accountable. As agencies, we are all looking forward to the solutions to challenges that our featured attendees will share today. We all agree there's opportunity for change, and we're committed to doing what we can to see that happen. With that, I'd like to introduce Jennifer Andrew. She is the Assistant Superintendent, Equity and Diversity for the Miami-Dade County Public Schools Office of Economic Opportunity. Jennifer.
Thank you, Amber. Good morning. Always a pleasure to be here with you all. We too are looking forward to this listening session. I stated on one of my social media platforms that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth so we can listen twice as much as we talk. So we're excited to be here. I have 2 representatives also from my team in the Office of Economic Opportunity, Romeo Romelis and Junior Anderson, part of our outreach team. They're joining us as well this morning. And again, my name is Jennifer Andreu. I'm the Assistant Superintendent with Miami-Dade County Public Schools Office of Economic Opportunity. As you all know, Miami-Dade County Public Schools is the 4th largest school district in the country. And our job here at OEO is to expand and provide equitable participation for our small, micro, minority women and veteran-owned businesses to do business with the school district in goods and services, construction, and professional services. The Office of Economic Opportunity promotes the economic development and growth of all of our businesses, in which we have about 1,200 currently. We do this through certification, community outreach, contract review and monitoring activities, as well as interaction like today with other municipal agencies. The OEO strives to ensure that all of our businesses have the maximum opportunity to do business with the school board. We want to make sure that we continue these contracting opportunities with the community. We have been able to successfully complete a disparity study, and we currently are doing another study, which is in the final phase. Through our disparity study, we have been able to do specific minority and women goals. So I encourage all of you to participate because we are actively doing goals in our construction and facilities project. As we continue and complete this current study, you will also see that we're probably going to be able to change our policy that we will take to the school board this summer. And then we may have goals if the school board accepts the disparity study findings and also agrees to review and also amend our policy. You'll find that we might be able to do goals around specific groups, particularly African Americans, with goods and services as well. So we look forward to the conclusion of this current study that we're involved in. So again, we're here to answer any questions. We have been known to take the feedback given in sessions like this and actually go back and change and amend procedures. And so this is very helpful to us as we further the work in the Office of Economic Opportunity. So thank you, Amber.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for joining us and being available to hear the concerns of the businesses and for letting us know more about what OEO does and the plans that the school board has that are soon to come. We're excited to hear that. Okay, next we have Gary Hartfield, who is the Director of Miami-Dade County's Small Business Development. Gary?
Good morning. I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Gary Hartfield. I'm the Director of Small Business Development for Miami-Dade County. I've been in this position for over 8 years. Basically, what small business development does is everything from Miami-Dade County. Miami-Dade County has roughly about an $8-9 billion budget, which we spend approximately $3 to $4 billion each year in construction, architect, engineering, and goods and services. With that, the county has a self-prescribed 10% percentage that should be spent with all small businesses of those dollars. We see that as a floor, not a ceiling. We always do our very best to try to get that up into the 15, 16, and 20% range with our small businesses. It takes a great effort for that to happen. I have a tremendous staff that works with me. We have over 5 different areas where we look at goal setting, we look at goal setting. We also look at monitoring the projects to ensure that the goals that we set are there. We also have a certification unit that does a phenomenal job in certifying over 2,000 firms in the areas of construction, architect, engineering, goods, and services. We also have a data management unit that's ran through our administration part, but our most important and precious section is our business outreach and education section, which is ran by LaWanda Wright Robinson. She's in attendance with us today. Her and her team and staff goes out in the community to recruit and educate businesses about our program and try to encourage them to actually bid on our projects. As Amber mentioned, we are a race neutral, gender neutral program. We do work with Jackson Health Systems. Amber does a great job in dealing with the goods and services component, but everything else from architect, engineering, goods and services that happens at Jackson Hospital is ran through small business development. We look at every single project that we have in Miami-Dade County to ensure that we are able to be a part of this process, be a part of the opportunity being created for small businesses like yourself. One thing Jennifer mentioned is that they're doing a disparity study. Miami-Dade County conducted 2 previous disparity studies. One back in 2012 was a pre-disparity study, and one we had in 2015, which was a complete disparity study. Both studies stipulated that Miami-Dade County needed to do an extensive job in creating its data to ensure that it includes the minority, all the ethnicities and gender of every business that we participated and awarded contracts to. This created a different program for us. That program that it created for us is that we did not have that data that stipulated and said those things from not only the prime contractors, the first tier subs, second tier subs, or third tier subs. We had to go back and redefine ourselves and go back and redefine our software so that we can create a software that would give us the ability to actually track those things that was mentioned that was lacking in our previous program. Thus, it gives us a bad situation to be able to not only create a program, but go back to a much needed effort and helps with our minority businesses. So right now, probably around late September, early October, November, we will be putting out an RFP for a consultant to look and do a disparity study for Miami-Dade County. We feel that we will have the necessary 3 years of comprehensive data that is needed in order to conduct a disparity study. We look forward to the results. We're not as fortunate as the school board to be able to create a program just by its board's approval. Back in the late 80s, Miami-Dade County was sued and had an injunction placed on it, prohibiting us from ever having a minority-based program or gender-based program. Thus, we need to have a disparity study showing complete disparity so that the county attorney's office could take it back to that judge and see if we have enough disparity in our study to get the injunction lifted so that we can then create and bring back our minority-based programs. We're working diligently to get this thing done, and we hope to have it again done by November so we can start our study. The study takes time. The study takes a complete diagnostic look at what the county's procurement processes are for construction, architect, engineering, goods, and services. This would not be a quick thing. It would be something that is done right and done well so that we can get these programs in place to assist our firms. We at Small Business Development look forward to helping all firms prosper, all firms. We ask that you, the businesses, come in and let us help you before you place your bid on your project. Let us look and see what opportunities are available for you. Let us help you create the opportunities for you that is best for you so that you can be successful and our program can thrive and create more businesses like yourself in our community. I take this time to appreciate being with you guys. I used to have a conversation with the director all the time and ask our businesses to come in and just speak so I can have these listening sessions. And we too have took back this information and improved our policies and procedures so that it's for the betterment of our firms. So I look forward to this conversation. I look forward and thank you for your time of having me here, and thank you for your time in participating. Amber?
Thank you, Gary, and thank you as well for participating. We know that it's very difficult as leaders to carve out time for the various responsibilities that we have, but this is such an important conversation. And I must say that Gary and Jennifer quickly responded, of course, we will participate. So thank you both so much for being here today. And Gary, Jackson looks forward to what the outcome of the disparity study will be so that we can make changes as well that reflect the county's practices. So now, so that we can get to the meat of our discussion today, I'd like to turn it back over to Robert Tyler, our moderator, who will be facilitating the feedback from today's featured businesses. Bob?
Thank you, Amber, and thank you, panelists. So if I can just add into our business community, our business family, I want to call on a couple of businesses and ask you to take maybe three or 4 minutes and really just introduce your business, tell us a little bit about your experiences, and we want to frame the dialogue that's going to take place. Please understand that everybody on this call is on the same team. So the purpose of this positive and open and honest dialogue is so that we can really make some changes. The people on this panel are committed. I vouch for their hearts. I know them. And so we have an opportunity to be productive. So we just want to give them the resources, the tools, the support, and the from the ground knowledge of what's going on out there. So we want to hear from you guys, and let's put some things in place that are really going to make a difference. If you don't mind, I want to start with Jackie Coleman. Jackie, can you give us a few words? This is Jackie Coleman from Al Hill Plumbing. Hey, sir.
Morning, everybody. And Bob, I like how you put it, positive feedback. So I'll be as positive as I can with my feedback. We all know how challenging this year's been, and most of our challenges are access to capital. I appreciate what I've heard from Miami-Dade County, both the public school and the county itself, about realizing that there is some disparity amongst small contractors and especially Black contractors. Now, the challenges over the years have been access to capital for all of us. And I do know that the county has a program where they're providing information on how we can access capital. That's not good for all of us. The capital that I need is a little bit bigger than what the county has in place for me to access. That would only just cause me more concern if I were to take interest in that kind of capital. I need more capital. But obviously, I'll talk a little bit about the process that Jackson has done on our behalf. You know, most of the time, those of us who've been in business for a long time don't like to tell people, iron out our laundry. We don't like people to know that when we started this project, we didn't have enough capital to start it. But due to the fact that Miami-Dade County has stated, you know, we got a program in place, a prompt payment program. And within 14 days, the contractor can get their money and we can get ours within the 16 days. Issue with that, it's never happened. But unless we talk about it, Jackson would never know that it never happened. The prime contractor, and this is not being negative, Mr. Tyler, but the prime contractor tends to not really understand enough about the process that every 14 days, which they can do, they're turning in payment applications. But I will say, when I decided to iron out that situation or spread it out to let Jackson know, hey, this is not happening, that team, that small business team went to work. I had the opportunity to share it with Sharice and also with Amber. And Sharice and Amber called everybody on the carpet and ironed it out and say, you know, this is unacceptable. You have to be able to take care of these contractors. You don't have any problem with their progress. You're not having any problems on the job. So what's the problem with turning in the pay apps on time? But I appreciate this morning who's in the room, because you know who's in the room are advocates for us. And those advocates are concerned about our growth. And the only way we can have growth is that the people in the room, our advocates, make it possible. So I see now that ways are being found through both Miami-Dade County schools and Miami-Dade County to try and include us and be advocates for us in the room. So, you know, during, even prior to the pandemic, there were times when we needed more investment from our advocates to give us the cause to accept. Most of the time, I'll switch it a little bit. Most of the time when I do go to Miami-Dade County, it's because I'm complaining. I got a concern, but I listened to Gary say, you know, you need to come down and before you get into this situation, talk to us about it and we'll try and work out a way. So I'm just addressing the fact that I appreciate the advocates who are in the room, and I appreciate the fact that the advocates are the ones that are going to help us through this challenging time.
All right, Jackie, thank you. I appreciate that. We're going to address some of those concerns you've raised. I want to hear from a couple of more business people. Benjamin, if you're still on, I want to get a perspective from the goods and services side as well. Benjamin Essien, if you're on, from EBS Engineering.
Good morning. Good morning, members of the panel, and good morning, participants. My name is Benjamin Essien. I'm the president of EBS. I'm also very active in the Miami Gardens area community. I'm a member, a very, very good member of OPAC. I think you guys can find out what that is anyway. We are concerned, not for myself, I think at this point again, I'm concerned for the generation Black, young Black men and women who should be able to participate and help the economy of the county and of our neighborhood, grow and prosper as in other neighborhoods. Let me start first of all on a very positive note by congratulating Amber for doing a very, very good job at Jackson. And I would tell you, because let me use it as a testimony, because I have a contract that was a set aside for small companies, SBE. It wasn't a set aside for Blacks, and we were selected as the team. It was a tough situation because Amber was able to make sure we do the work and we do it credibly and we participate in Jackson program. And I think that has been done. She has done that with the mentor prodigy that is going on the construction area. But in general, I think she has done a fantastic job. And I would, like I said, I want to describe my situation a little bit. It was a set aside contract that we will have for environmental, and two companies submitted eventually, or two companies were considered, responsive, and we went into a situation whereby we were ranked as number one. Mm-hmm. And after we ranked number one, the advertisement called for one company to be selected. Mm-hmm. I think there were some people who came out with the idea, oh, why don't we award it to more than one? Because they didn't think we could do the work. Because we are Black. We were selected based on the experience we show that we have done this thing for Miami-Dade County and other municipalities and the airport and the state of Florida. But then, because I was Black and very dark, maybe, they still felt that maybe we should give this contract to two. So there was a discussion that went back and forth. And I think it was eventually said it was advertised for one. I am sure that was with Amber's pressure on them that, look, you don't count the rule at the beginning of the game. Then we went forward and we did the job. And at some point, somebody came and said, oh, you have that way. Even though we are the consultant, we should be deciding what needs to be done in the contract. Somebody brought his friend through the back. This one is better and all that. He should. But again, with Amber's presence, we were able to settle that situation and continue to do a good job for the Jackson Hospital. Because even the company that they brought, I say, in my opinion, is substandard to the work that we do. When they present their work and our work is substandard. So I want to really take time to thank Amber for the good work she's doing. And I'm sure that he's doing that in the construction area. And you can also see, those of you who are participants, with the leadership she has provided with this presentation here today. So I would leave that alone. And I would say again, Amber, thank you very much. Continue the good work. I think we need you in the school board. We need another Amber at the county level to be able to. So I would challenge Mr. Gary to emulate what Amber is doing at Jackson. It's not just about small business. Yes, there are thousands of small business in this county, but when you look at the bottom line, most of the time, we don't get even up to 2% of anything, whether it's a contract or that. Then I will go to the school board. The school board, I think what I would suggest for the school board is, please, every month you can come out with a disparity studies, but give that disparity one for construction, I would do that one, another one for engineering, another Black man would do that one. So maybe we can get a lot of work doing these disparity studies, which we already know the conclusion. We know the conclusion of the disparity. You have the numbers, you know? Okay. And let me talk about the disparity studies. We do it. Take a little bit more time. Disparity studies, but it's very important because when we do these disparity studies in the past, in the 90s, we had, you know, the program, the Hispanic, Black, and women, you know, but even at that situation, we were not still getting out of it. We were not. Guess what? There were fronts in the Black neighborhoods. And most of those contracts still didn't neighborhood. It was going to another neighborhood because they were only front. The school board does that very well, very, very well. They would just take a token Black man. He may not even know the work. He's an Indian employee, but they package him to be there. And nobody asks question about it. And when it is discovered, nobody punish anybody. Okay.
Benjamin,
so these are the concerns that we already
Benjamin, I want to make sure we hear from some others as well. Yes. I appreciate that input, and we want this panel to address some of those concerns that you raised. So I want to, if you, no, I appreciate that. I want to add one more in, if we can, not just one more, but is Leighton Brown available from Essien Group?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning, and thank you guys for putting this together. I'll just be brief and quick. You know, given what everybody's gone through through 2020 and what we're still seeing in 2021, I think that maybe the school board, Jackson, and the county should create like a needs assessment task force for businesses. And that needs assessment task force really would just dive in and figure out what from a business to business standpoint, what are some of the challenges that they're facing? Kind of like Jackie Coleman mentioned, you know, we know the big themes of access to capital and bonding, and, you know, prompt payment and stuff like that. But, you know, there are other ways where if we dive in a little bit deeper, it may be just letting out a smaller dollar contract amount, you know, and splitting the contract in two. Because now you have two firms that can do it, but they can't do the bigger dollar amount because of cash flow purposes or bonding capacity and things like that. So I think a need assessment task force is something that each one of those organizations can kind of put together and kind of dive in and figure out at a granular level what everybody has gone through in 2020, where they're at in 2021, and how they can best move forward into, you know, the completion of 21 and into 2022.
Leighton, thank you for that. And guys, I want to make sure, like, all of us kind of know the problems out there, so they need to hear from us what we're dealing with specifically and what we think they can do to help. And then we're going to hear back from the panel in a little while. Stephanie from Apex Air Conditioning, are you still on? Stephanie, did we lose Stephanie? Okay. Final call for Stephanie. Is Michael Butler still on? Easy Painting and Decorating. Michael Butler. All right. And Rodney, I think you're still here, right? From Dream Clean.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Bob. I have nothing but positive to say. I am a commercial cleaning service here in Dade County for 21 years. Most of my business has been on South Beach, but I am currently working and living in the center of Miami, the design district. My workstation is out of Brownsville, 1471 Northwest 54. But Dream Clean has learned a host of information in the last year. And I'm really saying this for a lot of the business owners that may be on here. I would say that there is no discouragement. Register as an SBE, register with Jackson Hospital, register with Miami-Dade County Schools. since my journey started a long time ago with Michelle Levy, introducing me to the process, I have gotten to know Amber, has worked with me, Matthew, Eric has worked with me, Junior Anderson, thank you so much for everything. And Jennifer, you guys have been amazing. I just want to say that to all business owners, you got to get out there. You got to get registered, get your back house in order, you know, and as these things do come up, especially during this COVID period, you know, be diligent, listen, learn, get educated. I would say in the last 2 years that I have been getting more educated about Miami-Dade County. It's pushed me into a different area. It's pushed me into a different learning. And as a cleaning company, I believe that what's working with Miami-Dade County is working. You must be diligent, go forward, be patient, and make it work. Bob, I have read so much information about you. You are inspiring for me. So as a 21-year business, I'm going to keep pushing it the same way. Thank you very much.
Rodney, thanks for your input. I should pause right now and recognize our president. He's been on board, been logged in for a while. Eric knows if you want to take a minute or two, we definitely want to yield to you. I think he's still on mute, boss. He might still be on mute.
Get one. I don't worry.
Me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. We can hear you now.
Okay. I got this new system set up here. But anyway, I want to thank you all. Gary, thank you. Miss Andreu, Amber, and Junior, all of the work that you all do, and all your staff that's here, and everybody that helps you and supports you to do what you do. We know it's not easy, and we know you've been working very hard to, I guess I would say, right the ship. We know what the issues have been, but that's why we're here to move forward. Everything doesn't always go the way we want it to go, but we know if we're working together, we'll get it going the way we want it to go. So a lot of it takes patience. A lot of times it looks like we're constantly pushing against the river and pushing upstream. But again, at the same time, it's about relationships. We can't always beat you up, but at the time when it's time to beat you up, we need to beat you up because, you know, they say the squeaky wheel gets the oil, but sometimes you need a new wheel. So at the same time, so I really appreciate what you all are doing. And, you know, we're going to keep our nose to the grind, and we're going to keep on pressing you so that we can get more business. And that's what we're here for. We're going to press you. Sometimes it may seem like we're being a bit of a pain, but that's what we're here to do. But at the same time, we're here to help you as well. You know, if we see something wrong, it's for us to help you see what those things are so that we could correct them. So I appreciate everything that you all doing, everything that you're doing. Gary, Jennifer, Amber, thank you so much. And I know a lot of times, you know, you hear all the negative stuff. And Gary, I know people are always beating up on you. Jennifer, I think things have kind of calmed down with you a little bit, but no. And Amber just does the work, you know, and I'm sure she catches it too. So, but we're here to help you guys, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Boss, thank you for that. Thank you for that input. And we appreciate your leadership as well. The chamber is doing things that you really don't even know about for both sides of the table. What we really want to accomplish at this roundtable is two things. One, we want to make sure that the panel and those who are in public position to help us have what they need. So we're going to ask them before we leave, do you have what you need, and what are those things that you need and don't have? Therefore, we can advocate and support them for those things that we need. And then they need to hear from us, what's it like in the field? What's happening out there? Tell us what's going on out there. And so they know. And then so as we support each other, then we can hold each other accountable. They got to be able to come to me and say, Bob, you didn't do what you're supposed to do on that project. And I got to be able to come to them and say, I didn't have the support I needed from you. So this is the dialogue we're after right now. Is Linda on? Linda from AML Construction Contractors. If you're there, Linda, we're going to give you the mic. No. And is Wesley Neely on from Atlantis Air? Some of these are subcontractors that we work with at Jackson and for the school system. So it amazes me when prime contractors say they can't find Black HVAC contractors and Black electricians, and then we show up with a whole gamut of them. Stephanie, did you rejoin us from Apex? And I want to check and see if CJ, Connell Johnson from CJ Fire Protection, he was over there at Jackson with us as well as on a couple of other projects. And if there's anybody I missed in calling you out, business owners, I want to invite you to unmute yourself, and we're going to give you a couple of minutes.
Good afternoon. Well, good morning, actually. Still morning time, right?
Hey, Mike.
How you doing?
Good.
Is it okay? Am I good now?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. Cool. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Butler. I'm founder and owner of Easy Painting and Decorating, Inc. We're 7 years in business right now, going on 8 years in business. And first of all, I would just like to applaud you all for holding this panel and inviting me to be here. First, I would like to commend all the agencies on the economic opportunities that they have available for small businesses. You know, if it hadn't been for my engagement with those agencies, you know, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in today in regards to being a homeowner and owning things and being in position to launch other firms and help other people navigate. But nonetheless, I think we need to get past the numbers a little bit and kind of get more into the support of these firms. These subcontractors, especially our startups and firms like that, when they hit these platforms, when they win these projects, you know, they're not coming into a perfect system, because if the system was perfect, we wouldn't be here right now. But we have to understand that these firms will screw up. So my suggestion would be to perhaps maybe have some type of support groups within our agencies outside of what's already established that can work directly with the subcontractors and some of the undercurrents that they are enduring. And the undercurrents are things that are not being seen. That's what I refer to them as UC levels. They're undercurrent activities that go on with subcontractors and primes that are not seen on the platform. Through my experience of contracting with all of these agencies, you know, I'm pretty sure they've all heard my name at one point or another, different things like that. It has been very successful and sometimes not so successful. But those lessons from not being successful taught me how to be a better subcontractor, which in return makes the prime feel more comfortable with doing business with a sub that's a little bit more mature. So I think that the support groups that we can establish is very key on helping us control the UC levels, and also some type of payment protection program we need to have across the board. If I'm doing work with the school board and I have a situation where the architect and everyone's signing off on my work, but I still can't get paid, and the OEO can't do nothing, and I go to the school board and the school board can't do nothing, they say, hey, well, we paid the prime and that's it. That's, you know, there's nothing you can do. Work with your prime, and the prime is just kicking you off to the side. You know, these things right here are discouraging, you know. Or if you're doing business with the county, you know, and you know, you find yourself in a situation where, you know, you're getting fined into oblivion, you know, it doesn't make you too enticing with doing business with the county. So we want to make sure that if you do, you know, we do have to enforce the regulations, of course, and compliance. However, maybe we can have a payment or program set up where we can give them a payment plan or something where we don't have to wipe them all out and then tell them they can't do business for 3 years. Because then we don't want to do business in an atmosphere like that. So we have to create a better atmosphere, welcoming, working atmosphere between our agencies and our subcontractors, especially our startups and our primes who are not too familiar with the platform. You know, we get the numbers in, but it's more than just the numbers, right? We need more than just the numbers. We need the engagement numbers to go up, but we can't be clashing heads. We have to come together under a common understanding that we do have UC levels going on that need to be controlled. And if we work together, you know, saying we can accomplish that. I'm a prime example of that. Eric knows me very well. When I stepped onto this game, I had nothing. I was on the bus, $2.50 in my pocket. You know, now I'm a homeowner. I have land, you know, businesses. You know, I own my vehicles and all kind of different things like that. So these are the attributes we want to show that our agencies can provide. You know, and I'm here to help establish more small businesses become just as on a wealthy path like Michael Butler is right now. That's why I didn't hesitate to come on this forum. I'm dedicated to the small business community.
Thanks, Mike. I didn't know you were that wealthy. I'm gonna talk to you about a loan a little later.
Not a problem.
Appreciate it.
Hey, we working, man, that's all.
Yes, sir. No, I need that input. And I want to make sure we give the panel opportune time to respond too, but
Yeah,
I want to bring
absolutely.
on some more from Solar Savior. Mellissa, you out there?
Good morning.
Hey, Mellissa.
Hi. Thank you for putting this together for us. All right, thank you for putting this together for us. It's very good to be able to be in this space and see all the opportunities that are available for small businesses. I'm Vice President of Solar Savior, Vice President of Sales and Marketing for a company. And I will say that we are registered with the Miami-Dade Public the Miami-Dade Public School Board, and we did take an interest in a bid that was out specifically for a solar canopy down at the FIU High School. However, the requirements for bonds and the way that they wanted us to shell out all the funds to get the project completed and then to float that over a 10-year period to be paid back with the energy that's actually produced. As a small business, we're not in a position to do that. If we teamed up with a different company that had that capital wherewithal to be able to make it happen, absolutely, we would have been able to consult and get everything going. However, we're just not as sophisticated, I guess, as we should be to be able to go for those types of bids. And what I'm seeing is that most of the bids that are coming from the school board or from the county are kind of similar to that. So we're here for solar, we're here for that alternative energy, right? That resiliency and that energy efficiency that the government is talking about right now. However, we're having a hard time, opening those doors and stepping through those doors because of the capital expenditure that's required to be able to make things happen.
Thank you, Mellissa. I appreciate that. You know, I think that there's a lot of confusion out there right now about bonding, the whole surety business. And when we get the panel re-engaged, I want to talk a little more about that because that's one of the largest impediments to small business, specifically Black business. And it's a little bit of a catch-22. So we'll talk some more about that. Thank you for your input.
Excellent, thank you.
Is Basil out there? I know he was on earlier. Basil Bernard, one of my friends of long standing. I'm not going to say one of my old friends, but my cat from way back. Basil, you on? If not, we're going to, Amber, are we okay? I want to give the panel.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
And I see that Basil is saying yes. I think Matt is trying to connect him in.
Okay, good. Basil, welcome, man. Yeah, I think you're still muted, but in the meantime, I can just tell the family about all the wonderful things you've done. You're off mute now, so you can tell us. How you doing, man?
Morning. Thanks very much for the opportunity. Long time fan of a lot of the folks on the panel. of course. I'm loudmouth, always saying that there should be greater opportunities. Let me start with a couple of things that work. Um, those those bids that come out with a limited number of qualified vendors help tremendously, because one of the difficulties and challenges that we have is the starvation period between when you start trying to get these opportunities and when you do get one, because there's a learning curve. Make no mistake, if the learning curve is not quite significantly shortened, you will have a lot of companies that sign up but go by the wayside before they get the opportunity to actually make it and get by. I know Jennifer has,
Getting some
you know,
feedback where I want to just eliminate the feedback if we can. I'm sorry, Basil.
no problem.
Everybody's muted and will remain so. Thanks. You got the floor. Are you been Bill? I haven't seen you in a while.
All right, good. Thanks. I'm trying to get a little bit of quiet in my background here as well. Yeah, and Jennifer has given us the heads up on opportunities that are out there. And it has made a great difference, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And Gary and I have had conversations about the fact that we don't see the opportunities. We don't understand why there isn't a better collaborative situation with some of his procurement department. I must say that there are now opportunities that abound that we are able to at least access. Now, the challenge that we're still having is that a lot of the manufacturers that we would like to represent give us a hard time stating that they already have a dealer. And it's kind of like a chicken egg situation. You want that opportunity, and the manufacturers are saying, you need to bring us a big deal before we can give you the opportunity. Well, you kind of sort of have to give us the opportunity to sell your product before we can get that opportunity. I don't think, for example, whether it be Amber, Gary, or Jennifer, and to some extent Junior, should take on any company that does not have a diverse set of dealers. If they don't have a diverse set of dealers, then you're starting to do business with a company or specifying a product that their practices as a manufacturer are not true to the whole intent of any of these organizations or any of these business people that are here today. I would again say that the efforts that I see happening in construction are great. I did a little research, and one of the things reasons why is that if they are the larger companies are able to divest themselves of some of the costs with regard to workman's comp and so on, then it makes sense. So the reason why construction is doing well, one of them anyway, is because it makes dollars and cents. We need to make it painful to the manufacturers that are out there that don't have a diverse roster. Make it painful to them. Make them understand that Miami-Dade County is one county in the United States where if you do not have a diverse roster, we will not specify your product. I think that's reasonable.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. We want you to hang around because I want you to have an exchange with the panel as we go. We think that your contribution is going to be valuable.
Sure.
And let's see, I'm told I'm sorry. Is Autney Holmes in from Ozone? Want to give just a couple of minutes if Ozone is here. They're an HVAC contractor. I think Autney Holmes is here. It may still be.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can hear you. How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Give us a 2 minute on what you see out there on.
Okay.
Now it's a minute and a half.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm Autney Holmes. My company is also Near Design. I started in 2013. I think some of the major issues is kind of breaking up some of these contracts so that like HVAC work, AC work could be done directly by subcontractors instead of going through the general contractors, because there's some issues there. I was able to get some work through Jackson. I have done some work for Miami-Dade Water and Storage, but unfortunately, so far I have not been able to get any from the school board. But yeah, I think part of the issue is just breaking up some of these work. As far as financing, access to capital is always an issue. In the early days, I had to go to Cabbage because banks, of course, wouldn't give you loans and all that. So I had to go through Cabbage, pay a higher interest, don't make a lot of money on the job or barely break even. But certain jobs you have to just do so you can get your name out there. But yeah, the major issue is basically some of these work should be broken up so that subcontractors can actually do this work directly instead of always having to go through a general contractor.
We want to thank you for that input. What he's suggesting is a prime subcontract as a subcontractor.
Right.
And
yeah.
I mean, risk management in a lot of these departments thinks that the public entities risk is increased on some of those, although some have managed to do it anyway. But we'll hear from the panelists on that. Thank you for your input. Amber, should we pass back to the panel? I want them to have time for some input.
Yes, we can each, we've heard quite a few solutions today that have been proposed. Some are things that definitely should be considered. Some, others will have to be a case-by-case basis, of course. But we would like to hear from the panelists about anything that you've heard today where you may already have an existing solution or foresee an upcoming solution, or is there something that could possibly be taken back to your teams? So I'll go ahead and start. Basil, that's an excellent observation about the manufacturers and the existing relationships that they have with distributors and dealers that present a challenge to us, in terms of the opportunities that can be provided in those areas. So Jackson is actually working right now with another organization, the University of Miami, to try to leverage some of the work that we do and challenge those manufacturers. So that work is actually being done right now. It's going to take time. Change does not happen overnight, but we're committed to seeing that happen. Capital is an existing and continuing issue. We will continue to bring forth those funding sources that we know of. The question was asked earlier, I believe, by Bob. What do the agencies need? And Jackson does not have money. So if we had a pot of money, to work with, that would be different. But we do depend on the county's program, and they do have a funding program within small business development to assist small businesses with capital needs. And also, I'd just like to go ahead and answer that question on a broader scale about what do the agencies need. Just from Jackson's perspective, we need businesses that will participate in the process. What happens is when we put out opportunities and there is no participation, those opportunities dry up, they leave, and then the next go around, things sometimes are done differently in response to what has happened in the past. So we definitely need firms to participate in the process. We know that we've heard today several of the challenges that exist, but what we need is for you to consistently tell us why. So if you haven't participated in the process, let us know why. so that we can change the process the next time, or make a change in the midst of the process. We had Benjamin speak earlier. He actually responded in the market research and said that this is something that would be restrictive to small businesses to participate. And the change was made, and he was able to compete and win that award. He was the winning company because he spoke up about the process and said, this is not right. So if you don't participate in the process, you don't provide feedback through the process, then we don't know that anything is wrong. We need your help to tell us what's going on, what's wrong, which is exactly why we're having this session today. And it won't cover everything that can be adjusted, but please keep this dialogue going. Please continue to let us know what's happening so that we can try to address these issues. Also, what we need, I'm sorry.
I want to ask you
sorry,
a quick question. So
okay.
a lot is said about financial resources and bonding, and I want Gary to weigh in on this also because I know the county offers that.
Mm-hmm.
But if the underwriters are using the same criteria as these businesses see in a commercial over-the-counter market, then what advantage is there? That's we'll end up with the same results. How do we change that?
Well, I want to answer that question, but first off, I want to say, Amber, thank you. That's just a reiteration of what I've been saying is if we don't get the participation, it's hard for us to do our job to create these opportunities. You guys are the professionals. You guys are the ones that's on the ground, in the trenches, doing the things. It's our job to take that information that you all have and bring it back to our shop and remove those impediments, remove those barriers, create the opportunity so that we can have more firms like yourselves to be a part of the success and create more opportunities because of that success. From a bonding perspective, we at Miami-Dade County also have a access to capital program. It's a bonding and lending program. In some cases, in all cases, it depends on, especially with the access to capital part. If you have a county contract with us, we can give you up to 80% of what that county contract is worth. You can use some of that for your factoring issues, some of the things that you need in order to get the job done. And the reason why it worked that way is because through that county contract, we can recoup those dollars back into our program. We have a $4 million revolving loan program where we are utilizing those dollars not only to for that piece that I just mentioned. We also would give you assistance in trying to help you get bonded, give you the necessary dollars you need up front in order to secure that bond in order to do it. But again, it stipulates itself being a part of having a county contract. Bonding is a big responsibility within everything that we do, set forth by the state of Florida. And so we have to have that. We looked at in small business development, looking at from a bonding perspective, we try to take it off of goods and services contracts more so and keep it towards the construction contracts. For goods and services contract, we pretty much want you to get in there and get this work done. But it's kind of hard, especially on a services contract. There's a lot of things that we have in this county. We have to protect our infrastructure. And in doing that, Michael Butler said it best. And I want to make sure that he gets it right, that before we get there and get in trouble and before we get to those things, we need you guys to come in. Same thing for bonding issues. I have a bonding team and unit, Carlos Sensor and Anthony. Two great teams led under Lori Johnson. Have all access to all the funding institutions to assist you guys. We are working with a lot of the consultants to try to help our small businesses create a better credit profile, which is needed in order to insure these dollars and ensure your bonding capacity. But this starts with one thing: the firm coming into our office and working with us. LaWanda Wright Robinson is on this meeting call as well. She's the chief over our business outreach and education. It is just what that is: business outreach and education. We like to educate our firms about where they went wrong or where they went right. We like to look at our failed chances at trying to win an award. We would take the winning bid and look at all the ones that did not succeed in that bid and go over what the winning bid did and what was the opportunity they took that you didn't took. We look at.
Have we been taking advantage of that, or our business is taking advantage of that?
I don't think so, because my guys are there. That team, that business outreach and unit team has over 6 people engaged in that, and that's just for them. They are our businesses are each one of those tax have businesses assigned to them to assist them at every given moment, at the time of pre-bid, at the time of bid, and at the time of award and post-award. So if something's going wrong while they have the contract, if they come in and let us know what's going on at the beginning, we can help you. Not even that, even when you have a payment issue, if you come in, if you're a subcontractor and you have an issue with your prime on a county contract, you need to come in and tell us that you're having an issue. We can talk to that prime because we have a contract with that prime, not the sub. And that's where our subs get in the most difficult situations because they have done their work. They have done their part. And unfortunately, the prime does not submit the bill until 3 months after they did their part. And they're waiting 3 months behind on a payment. They need to let us know that they've been waiting that long because there's no reason for the prime to hold that payment out that long. So it's a lot of little nuances and things that needs to be fixed. But it first starts.
Question. I want to get Jennifer involved also. But you mentioned that if you have a contract, a county contract, that you should be able to get access to funding and bonding. And what some of the businesses are telling us is that they're held to the same criteria, the same underwriting criteria as they would on from any commercial establishment, which is why they end up getting rejected. So is that the case? And if so, what can we do differently?
You want me to answer, Jennifer?
No, you first, Gary. Then I'm gonna move right into Jennifer. My
thing is that we need to come in and do an assessment of our firms. And the biggest thing that we found leading to them getting access to capital is what everybody has. We got to understand our credit is our backbone, is our faith, is our passport. And so in doing that, we can rebuild that. And in rebuilding
the contract help. I mean, if I got a contract that the county has, do you need more, or can you just say, okay, I'll leverage the contract?
No, you're going to leverage the contract if you're going to utilize our program, but we're going to, and it's backed by a bank that we're working with. It was formerly as Intercontinental Bank. They changed their name. I'm not familiar what they changed their name to, but it was Intercontinental Bank, which we are working with in order to issue out these loans to our firms based upon them having a contract with the county. And again, up to 80% of the contract will help them with their access to that capital.
But if this financing is being leveraged by a guaranteed contract, couldn't we tell these financial institutions, I want you to be a little more lenient with my business owners? I mean, I want to put the onus on them some kind of way. Yes. If it's guaranteed with a contract, there's no risk.
Yes, and that was the whole premise behind our program, to give businesses who don't have the best credit in the world, who don't have the access to everything that they can do, is so that we can allow them that access because of that contract that they have. Now, it's not, everything is not for everybody. Everybody's not for everything. So some businesses don't want the county taking any of their contract because they want their money to do it with as they please. But we would be remiss if we put you out there and then gave you some money and you had not have an opportunity to pay us back, putting you in more debt and more hole. That is not good for our businesses. So we want to hold your hand. We want to help you build your credit. We want to help you get these opportunities. We want you to move beyond our program. A successful small business development is when a firm come in and graduate. That is success for our program. That means that we have created the opportunities that was there. They took advantage of it, and we did everything to help that firm prosper. Not only that, after they graduate, we give them what they need to continue to be successful. So those are the tools that we're looking to do.
Gary, thank you for that. Jennifer, solve our problems for us. What do we need to do?
So I'll just piggyback on a few things that Gary mentioned. We want to help you be successful and graduate. And since 2013, we have graduated 145 of our firms from either micro to small or small to right out of our program. And so we are proud of that accomplishment. And again, we know there's still a lot of work to do. So we don't stand on what we have done, but we know there's still a lot to do. I want to just jump around a little bit so I can touch upon a couple of things that were mentioned this morning. So the compliance piece is huge. So what we have built into our online diversity compliance system for our subs is when they receive a payment, not only does the prime have to go in and enter that payment in our system, but the sub has to verify that they received that amount as well and that it was timely. And we go out, we audit our firms to make sure that those documents are in order. So we want to see the canceled checks that you have paid these subs. So there is a checks and balances. And again, as it's already been stated by Gary and Amber, if you're having a problem, contact us, because although our contract is with the prime, we have an obligation and we're the advocate for the sub. So we want to make sure, and ours are mandatory goals. So there's no quote dummies or any of that happening. These are mandatory goals that they have to comply with. So when we say there's 15% that has to be given to African American, Native American, or Asian Americans, that's minimum 15. And then we're checking to make sure that that's done. If it's not happening, they're in breach of contract. And that's how we're handling it. And the other thing I think was mentioned earlier, I encourage our firms that have the ability to do so to become lobbyists. And that is a registration form and payment to the school board. And that allows you access to speak to people who have buying authority. So whether it's a principal at a school site or a district administrator, that will allow you to have those conversations or even a presentation to those particular people. And I do a lot of that matchmaking. That's what our department, Junior Anderson, Romeo, and Michelle Hicks-Levy, we do that matchmaking for you. So I know that the solar firm, for instance, I don't know if you're a lobbyist with us, I would encourage you to do so. And if you need an introduction to our sustainability department, then we can provide that for you. And that's a good connection. So you know what their plans are for the next 5 years, because we have a 5-year capital plan. Also, I just have to say too about going back to some of the primes versus subs. We have spent with our $1.2 billion bond with the school system. You may hear my boss, the superintendent, lots of times he says, promise made, promise kept. He said that he made a commitment if this bond was passed, that we would do business and have expenditures with African Americans. So I just want you to know, as of today, $45 million has been spent with African American primes and another 40 odd million with African American subs for a total of about 10 to 11%. So again, Gary said it best, that's the floor, not the ceiling. But we are there. We are spending money. We have more work to do, particularly, and I think Basil Bernard's hit it right on the head with our goods and services department. One thing I'd like to see us do in the future is we need to invite our procurement departments to these meetings as well, because I go back and I tell them, this is what was said, this is what we should do, but they need to sit here and hear it as well. And like I like to say, I think Mr. Knowles said we get beat up. Let's bring the procurement department here. They can take a few of these hits as well. Let's share it. So I would like them to also listen to this conversation, because I think it would be valuable for them to have an active role as well. And then somebody mentioned breaking up the contracts. One of the things that we do, I think it was ozone, we do have, and it comes through our maintenance department. So we have separate maintenance / facilities, 2 separate departments, and we do break up those contracts. We call them job contracts. And so you might see just the roofing or just the HVAC. And that gives that small business owner an opportunity to have a smaller, item. They don't have to go and don't need the bonding for that larger item. So that is being done, and it was painful. Go ahead.
So you say under maintenance is job, but the job contract has a multiplier, a preset fee attached to it, and your maintenance contracts are cost plus. Is that correct?
The maintenance contracts sometimes have a multiplier as well. It just depends. Some they did a roofing one, that one had a multiplier as well. So it varies, I guess, based on the scope of work. Did that answer your question?
The pricing is all predetermined in this catalog. Is this catalog pricing with the job contracts, right?
It's not predetermined. It's for the company to give us their best and final. And that actually leads me to the last point I want to make. And I remind our vendors this all the time. We are looking for the best price. And that is, to me, the biggest obstacle and hurdle. You know, it pains me sometimes because even in our sheltered markets, and we've done quite a few sheltered markets when we've done this PPE, you know, when everyone had to pivot and jump on board and get masks and hand sanitizer. We had several sheltered market opportunities, but we don't have that direct contact, like Basil mentioned, with the manufacturer to get the best pricing. And we're always going to go with the lowest price. These are taxpayer dollars. And so we have to be good stewards of the dollars. And so we're always looking for the best price. So that's the biggest obstacle. I don't have a solution for it, but I'm talking to my colleagues and others to try and find ways around how can we compete with the larger firms in terms of our price point. So those are, I think, the biggest issues that I'm seeing right now with the market.
Yeah, but do you guys have the 10% preference in the bid for local? I've seen that with some of the other public entities where you can get 10 extra points. I think you guys have used this in the RFP process for local. Can that be applied to pricing?
So we do have a local preference policy, and it's only for Miami-Dade County. And what our preference policy is, and we're actually looking at revising it. What we're right now, it currently states that if you're within 5% and you're local, we will come back to you and give you a second bite at the apple and ask you to match or beat the lowest price that we have. So if you're within 5% of someone else who's out of state or even in Palm Beach, we will come back to you and ask for either, like I said, to match it or beat it. That's our local preference policy. And then we have our SBE, MBE that we offer points to based on goal setting for our RFPs and a price preference for our ITVs.
I think that's critical because, and that's what I'm gonna take back to the chamber. If there's an opportunity for us to support you in changing some of these policies, even if it's an ordinance and or legislation. I also mentioned to Gary that that we want to support him. We believe that his office should be reporting directly to the mayor. And we want to support that change, that initiative. So these are the way, I mean, we have to know from you guys, like how we can help you get what you need to help us get what we need. So I think that's critical. Matt, are you on board? Are we okay?
Yes, it's about time for closing remarks.
All right, I'm gonna pass back to you and Amber.
So I'll go ahead and just thank the chamber so much for partnering with us for this listening session today. As a government agency, I know I've received a lot of information that I know can have an impact on Black businesses particularly and help us push change in the county. And I look forward to doing that work with my counterparts at the school board and small business development, as well as through the advocacy committee in the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you to our featured businesses that chose to use today to share your feedback and use your voice. This is what we need to make change. We're agencies, we think that things are working. So if things are not working, we need you to let us know, hey, this is not working. This needs to be changed. So thank you so much for speaking up. I think it was Eric that said the squeaky wheel, you know, sometimes it needs to get changed. So let's work together to keep this conversation going and make change for Black businesses here in Miami-Dade County. And I really look forward to the chamber and the advocacy committee, Mr. Tyler, to hold us accountable for what we've heard today. So definitely I look forward to follow-up discussions with the Advocacy Committee and the Chamber to discuss some of these solutions that were proposed today and what can be done in those areas. So thank you all, and to the panelists, again, your time is so precious. I know from experience, so thank you so much for making yourselves available today. Matt?
All right, I want to thank everyone for joining in and being a part of this amazing discussion. When this idea came up, we're speaking to our advocacy chairman, Bob Tyler, and also Amber Lawhorn. Everyone was on the go to make sure this happens. Because as all these conversations that we've been having on the county, school, local level about what can we do to bring and engage more businesses, it always starts with being able to listen and hear exactly what the needs are from the community. And so much respect to all of our business owners that have come on, that have shared their thoughts, and also to our representatives here from Miami-Dade Public Schools, Jackson Health, and also Miami-Dade County, and the leadership there for making you available to be here today. We are the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. We are the Black Business Chamber and Minority Business Chamber for Miami-Dade County, and it is on us to make sure that these things continue to move forward. This is one step in the process of our advocacy committee, who is leading that work and charge in making sure that everything that's been discussed today actually come to fruition. And that's what we're trying to do here at the Chamber. So if you want to reach out and connect with us, we strongly encourage you to take the time to screenshot of this contact information from the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, Jackson Health, Miami-Dade Public Schools, and also Miami-Dade County, so that you can get direct connections. As Miami-Dade County Small Business Development, they need people to come in and speak to them. And speak directly to them. Same thing with the Office of Economic Opportunity. They survive based upon the engagement from the community and you reaching out and doing your due diligence to show up to these meetings, to take these calls, to set these meetings up so they can provide their services to you. So make sure that you take the time, screenshot this information so that you are online and available when these things take place. Also, we want to make sure that you join us as a chamber. You can go to our website, www.m-dcc.org. We are as strong as our members and people that come together. So we invite you to join the chamber so we can continue this work and join us in our upcoming events. You can go to our upcoming events every Tuesday and Friday at 4 o'clock. We have a small business meetup with many of the same business owners that speak here today, talk about these challenges, talk about their highlights, share their wisdom. So we invite all small business owners to join us every Tuesday and Friday as we have these conversations. And join us again coming up this Thursday. We'll be talking about how to successfully apply for PPP funding, and in our partnership event with the Community Fund of North Dade, talking about our Black Business Loan Program. As you see, we had a few people talk about accessing capital. This is one of those capital projects that's exclusively for Black business and also other businesses in Miami-Dade County. Have many offerings, but they specifically dedicated dollars to Black businesses. So join us on Thursday. Check back at this Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce website and join us. Together we are stronger, and we want you to be a part of how we are changing the landscape of how we do business in Miami-Dade County. And we can only do it together. So much respect for everyone that's joined in and made this happen. We love you and appreciate you. Thank you, Chairman Tyler. Thank you, Amber Lawhorn. Thank you, Jennifer Andreu. Thank you, Gary Hartfield, for taking the time out of your day to host this important conversation. With that, we're ready to close out, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, family. Take care.
Goodbye.